What's up?
Hey there. Welcome to Wine Down Wednesday.
Wine Down Wednesday.
Cheers.
Cheers. I know.
I don't know why I'm not
You left her out. I know.
You might, sorry.
No, there's no good reason to it. It's just I feel like I'll be more focused.
Okay, there you go. Perfect.
We have a little bit of ambiance lighting,
Mood
to
lighting.
kind of coincide with our topic of sleep training.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get into that, you want to give an update on who are we missing? We're missing Sarah.
Sarah isn't here. We're sad, Sarah. This is your first Wine Down Wednesday. You're not here. We're missing you, girl. But there's a really good reason, because she's an amazing prog, which is just, I don't know, like probably the trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to feel too,
Don't feel too bad.
Yeah, I don't feel.
She doesn't feel bad.
She doesn't feel bad at all right now. She's
Definitely
feeling
not.
really fantastic, I'm sure. So,
Yes.
anyway, that's
Hope you're
that.
having fun, Sarah. We miss
Yeah,
you.
we miss you so
Can't
much.
wait to hear all about your
All
amazing
about
adventure.
it.
To the right on the end, we have Erica.
Hi guys.
And she is a special guest that I work with. And also a new-ish mommy, too.
New-ish.
She's been momming for a couple of years with her daughter, Ansley,
Yeah.
who is how old?
21 months.
Okay.
And then Harrison, who is 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
So,
So,
a little
That's one of my
crazy.
niece's names.
Harrison.
Harrison.
That's a good name. Harrison
Good one.
Ford.
Yep, Harrison
Harrison
Ford.
Ford.
Yeah.
So we got the joy of working together while we were pregnant and having fun stories, and we were kind of due around the same time, and then she went and had that baby.
Yeah,
Early.
like 3 weeks early.
Oh boy.
So,
Oh, he's precious. But the two of us on the end are not sleeping.
yeah, what is that?
Sleep.
Really
Yeah.
good under eye.
So what a great time to have Morgan.
This
And we have Morgan Griffith with Sleep P.
Sleep P. Yes, infant and toddler sleep consulting.
Yes.
It's a mouthful.
name.
But
That's awesome.
I tried to get creative. What can I say?
Yeah.
It's really cute.
You got to be a busy lady in Charlotte.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes. Sleep is
Highly prized.
Yes. Yes. I would do anything for it. Baby, are you listening? Anything?
Tonight you'll sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Morgan, tell us a little bit about your background and what you do.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I started this company a few years ago, but I've been at it at parenting for 7+ years. I've got a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old, and like all of you, I did all my research on sleep before the babies were born, and I thought or my first child was born, and I thought I had it all figured out, and ever so sadly, I did not. And
First one.
yeah. So I was living in San Francisco at the time, and the thing to do was to go get a sleep consultant. So I actually worked with one myself and learned so much, but probably unique to me, I was fascinated by the inner workings of what happened. Like, what didn't I get when I read the books? Like, what did I miss a whole chapter? Did I miss like the one key thing? I mean, I was just so curious. So I really started heavily researching sleep, and I think like a lot of sleep trainers start out this way. They start kind of mastering the whole routine with their friends and their friends of friends and family, and so I had a big opportunity to do that. And then
They're probably
everyone's
trying to copy what is working for somebody else
Yeah.
rather than seek the advice that's going to work for them.
exactly. And so over years, I honed my own approach and use that now, and it's been awesome because I see so much success, and truly people are getting their lives back with this stuff. So.
It really
Yeah.
is. I mean,
That's amazing.
That was one of my biggest anxieties before, because mine are 7 and 9. I mean, I've been sleeping for a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was in the clear.
You are.
And I just was like, I had 2 really good sleepers, and I'm like, I'm not going to be gifted that for the 3rd time in a row.
No.
And knock on wood, he's good, but I think there's always room for improvement.
Right.
So having a 3-week-old and a 7-week-old,
Yeah.
is there kind of like a sweet spot and like timing if a mom is like, I might be having some problems here, like I
Right.
might need to reach out to somebody to where you can kind of establish those healthy sleep habits before maybe it's a
Yeah.
little harder?
Yeah, okay. So first of all, I mean, the first 8 weeks of life are really important, right? Because that's where babies really start to kind of figure out the difference between night and day. So it's not a great time to start you know, getting really highly anxious about sleep teaching or teaching bad habits during those few weeks. It's really important to focus more on just feeding, you know, snuggling, loving them up, making sure that you're kind of getting the gist of parenthood, which you never will get anyway. Yeah, all that stuff. But just, you know, bonding. There's really, you can't do a single thing wrong other than, you know, safety is a priority always in those first 8 weeks. And I know it's hard because a lot of parents are, you know, doing those things like, well, I know I'm supposed to put my kid in the bassinet, but every time I do, they cry, so what gives? So it's tricky. I would say that, you know, overall a sweet spot for sleep teaching is probably around the, you know, a lot of people like to start looking at it around the 12 to 16 week mark or 12 to 20 week mark. Really just because kids kind of have, you know at that point whether your kid's confused, whether they've got their nights and days mixed up. Feedings, they start to kind of elongate, so now you're kind of in more of that, you know, 3-ish hour zone of your feedings and not having to cluster feed quite as much and all of that. So, and then also, I mean, I see it as a sweet spot because around 5 months old, I see a lot of kids starting to get increasingly social. So you start really getting those smiles, and not just the fake sleepy ones, but the real ones like, Mommy, I see you, hi. And that's really when, you know, that kind of that separation anxiety can start to build. It peaks around 7-8 months, but so then we start working with a lot of things, and then teething, and then so that's when it gets not too difficult, but just a little bit more difficult, increasingly difficult. And you know, as with anything, the longer that we sort of carry on with a habit, the harder it is to kind of break down and change. So, you know, if you're in that, I mean, I start kids as early as, 10 weeks. I do look at their weight though very carefully. So, if they're 10 weeks old and, you know, 8 pounds, then no. But 12 pounds is kind of a good marker, just because that's when kids can start to stretch a little longer through the night.
That's
so.
why I wanted a big fat baby.
Yeah, you do want to birth.
I wanted to birth
I know.
a big fat baby.
I was always blessed with those little babies that I'm like, eat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, definitely. And, you know, the flip side of that is that there's no too late period either, right? So say for instance, I mean, I always tell families when I talk to them, the right time to do this is when it's right for you. I mean, you're the ringmaster. You, the moms and the dads out there, and all the caretakers are the ringmasters of the schedule. And you're going to drive it ultimately. You know, you're going to have your priorities. You're also going to have your anxieties, and those are really important to stay attuned to and listen to. So if you're feeling like, you know, like 3 of my best friends are sleep training, it's just, I don't know, I'm like really nervous, or it's just not really for me. I was going to do something different with my kid. Do that. Be different. Don't feel like you have to, like, you know, go with the whole crew.
It's hard to not get
it is.
in the competitive, like, well,
oh, I know.
Oh
Erica's baby's sleeping through the night.
Yeah.
My baby's sleeping through the night.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Ford over here.
We do that.
sleeping.
We do that in everything. You know, sleep
Yes.
is the big thing to
Yes.
brag about. We do that all. You know, oh, your
Yes.
kid's playing baseball 3 times a week. Oh, well, mine's only 2. Should I add mine up? You know, or
Yeah.
sign mine up for another?
Comparison
Like,
game.
yeah,
It's
totally.
so
We're guilty of
internal
it.
in our house. With Ansley being 21 months, she was sleeping 6 hours at 4 weeks.
Yep.
And Harrison is maybe
Yeah, a couple
like
hours.
4 hours on his own. Not
Right.
without a dream feed.
Right.
For the dream
But
feed, we're solid.
That's
but
normal at his age.
like,
yeah.
but for 4 hours on his own, I'm like, what are you doing, kid? Your
Yeah.
sister. Your
Yeah.
sister.
Your
Like,
sister.
oh no. Stop it,
Yeah.
stop, bad.
I would say it's all normal. So I think that, you know, a lot of parents are like, okay, well, when do I, you know, give me some cues or give me some pointers. Like, when do I know that I'm starting a bad habit? I would say, you know, start watching your kids around the 8 to 10 week mark. And if you're feeling like, say for instance, you had a child who, you know, at 7 weeks was starting to sleep 8-hour stretches. Awesome.
I know.
Like, love that, right? That's great. But then we cross into subsequent weeks and you're starting to say, oh, shoot, like it was 8 hours and now it's going back to 5 hours and now every 2 to 3 hours they're waking up at night and now they're not napping and all of that. So that would be kind of a pointer that something in the schedule
And are
needs
those
to
like
change.
easy, like kind of developmental like regressions where they might like work themselves off, or like How
Yeah.
long does it last before you're like, okay, this is not
That's a really
like,
good question.
going back to...
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And this is where most families get stuck, right? So everybody's heard, well, not everybody's heard. I don't mean to, say that. But there is this thing being batted around about the 4-month sleep regression, right? So that's kind of like the first sleep regression that we all hear about. I personally look at it a little bit differently. I see it more, and I've done some research on this, where I see it less of a regression, which to me, like if I tell you, oh, it sounds like you're in a bit of a regression. If somebody told me that, I'd say, okay, that means that I'm taking a few steps back, but it's going to correct itself. It's pretty fixable, right? It's just like, 5 steps back, like 6 steps forward kind of thing. At 4 months, and take this with a grain of salt. It can happen at 3 months, 3.5 months, 4+ months. But essentially, the brain is changing. It's maturing at the right rate, the right pace. And children stop sleeping in those really long stretches where, when your kid's in a car seat sleeping and you drop a frying pan next to them on the floor and you're like, oh, look at that, still asleep.
Right.
So as the brain matures, the brain starts to sleep in cycles, which is how we all sleep.
Right.
And so you start talking about sleep cycles at that age, and that's when things start to kind of get messy. And here we are saying, oh, it's just a regression, we're going to get through it. And I have no doubt that a lot of people have hit it as a regression and they've, come out of it. But I see most parents saying, oh, hell broke loose around 4 months, so it must have been the regression. I'm like, well, actually what happened was you kind of stuck with the similar habits and you forgot to make changes on behalf of your child given the cues that they were giving you. Yeah. It's not like you forgot, you just maybe didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And
right.
So it's
interesting.
tricky.
Yeah.
Right? So when
when
your kids start sleeping in cycles, that's when to start saying, okay, now my child's gonna have to learn how to self-soothe if they're gonna knit sleep cycles together. This is the kind of age where I don't want to go like sprinting to them every time they make a little fuss or a peep. That's hard to do, I get it. It's hard to switch that off, but
your third one, it's not that hard.
yeah, you're like,
Natalie's like, you're fine.
I feel like you're fine. Gosh, 2 more hours, you're fine. Just kidding. I love that baby.
So is your-
taken care of.
Yeah, he definitely is. Is your process like? Do you go into someone's home and you monitor or you observe?
So what I do is, first and foremost, and anyone is free to do this if they're interested, but essentially, I want people to call in and feel like, you know what, I can just check this lady out. Like, I can get a feel for who Morgan is.
Right.
Ask my questions, give her the rundown about what's going on in her house, and just kind of get some feedback from her. And it gives me a chance to get to know you. I'm doing a lot of listening and talking, but at the same time, I'm just trying to kind of gauge whether sleep teaching at all is good for you. Because some people are sort of, like I said, we talked about it before, they're doing what their neighbor did, and it might not be right for them at that time. So that's part of it. So that's kind of a free upfront initial call.
Right.
And then I offer a few different packages, but I just, we're all tired. We don't want to sift through like 30 things. So I just have a couple different options for people. I'd say the most popular is signing up for a 30-day package where you have full access to me to ask your questions. And that package really kicks off with a 2-hour meeting in your home. So that I can kind of assess your nursery setup. Most of them are awesome and super sweet. Yeah.
So speak on that.
Yeah.
I was reading your website. Like, one of the tips, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never thought about that. It was to have a white or a very pale, like neutral,
the bed
solid sheet.
Yeah.
Because at a certain age, these babies are distracted.
Yeah.
And all these like fun, but just
it's probably not like
things that,
that's probably not like a make it or break it. It's funny because there are some kids who will sit there and just be totally like engaged with like the patterns on their crib, and they're especially the ones who are like laying on their tummies and like ooh, and they do that for hours sometimes. But exactly, they don't know what it is, but it's colorful and it's unique and interesting. That's one of those kind of think about it. Try to keep things as simple as possible.
Like a calm environment,
totally
like neutral, pretty much.
Super spa.
So
baby
you had
spa.
on your website 10,
exactly.
10 tips.
The Oh, what were you saying? You want me to go?
No,
Oh.
no. You had on your website.
Yes.
Just people can go and see like 10 kind of like
Totally.
tips.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of, and there's simple things, really, everyone can do it, but I mean, it's kind of things like just cut the clutter, right? So I know we all get excited about our baby and we want to like put, all the knickknacks in the room, but I mean, for the first 5 years, those rooms should be pretty toned down. Because, and especially, we have the luxury in Charlotte of having, a lot of square footage in our houses for the most part. Or, a lot of people, I'm from San Francisco, like I said before, and people are like, maneuvering around a 1-bedroom apartment.
Literally.
So you don't have a playroom off on the west wing. But, even in those situations, I tell parents, because I do work nationally, and I tell parents, just really kind of like put stuff away if you can, because the last thing we want is, a fired up toddler ripping down his whole bookshelf or all the cute knickknacks that grandma sent.
Yeah, it does like on Pinterest.
Exactly.
It kind of translate to healthy sleep habits.
But yeah, simple is better. I mean, also, it sounds harsh, but I mean, the nursery should be kind of boring. Definitely one thing I see a lot of is the mobiles, whatever they're mobiles, and they're like spinning, and now they're like throwing out like light swords and stuff. And
and then on the side of the
crib.
crib.
On the side of the crib.
Yeah, all the
lights
toys
out.
and the game stuff. So those are
not
out.
good ideas.
Right, well, because if you're
moments.
sitting in there saying, I really want my kid to sleep, which they should be doing in their cribs, that's just an element.
But
of
what they
distraction.
really are probably saying is, let me sleep longer by entertaining yourself.
Yeah, and yes, but I think the issue is that when we put our kids in cribs, I mean, yes, we could also use that time to take a shower, like file our nails, but
baby jail.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the point is that a lot of people, especially in the under a year range, are fighting about like, okay, I'm going to stick my kid in the crib, but I want to make this crib time count because I need to do a feeding soon, and I need to get up and bathe them and get the other kid ready for it. So, the crib time does need to count, and we do want it to count towards sleep. And I always tell parents this: what you want to have happening at 2 a.m, you also want to replicate to happen at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. So if you have the expectation that your kid's not playing in their crib, like with all the lights and sounds at 2 a.m., then we can't allow them to do it, because that sends really mixed signals.
Right.
And kids live to make us happy. And I do want to make this point because it's most especially, I mean, infants, yes, but the toddler set, this is so crucial. I get, I think we get in that 2 and 3, 18 months to like 36 months, like that range. And we're like, oh my goodness, my kid is driving me nuts today, but I love them. and so we're sitting there, we're like, what gives? Why are they trying to terrorize me? Or, I have a lot of moms saying like, oh, this is payback. My mom says I was horrible,
Right.
But the reality is that these kids, all they want to do in life is see our smiles, see our pride, have mommy essentially say the words, you make me so happy, you make me so proud. And when we're ignoring, inadvertently, obviously, because not everyone's obviously going to be an expert in this, but when we're inadvertently ignoring cues and signals, we're almost making it harder for them to perform well, because our expectations are here and then here and then here and then here, and the kids are like, okay, so you let me do this and then this and then this and then this. What I'm encouraging parents to do, is to set your expectation here. Make it achievable. Nothing's worse than an expectation that you can't meet, right? That's going to cause some damage down the road too. Make it an achievable expectation. I want you to, your bed is a place where you go and you sleep. Okay, great. And I know parents are like, yes, I tried that. It's not working. But okay, I know, easier said than done right now. But having that expectation night after night after night after night, not, I expect you to sleep in your bed some nights, but other nights you can come into mommy and daddy's bed, and other nights mommy will sleep in your bed. And so it moves the mark for them too much. And then they get confused, and they're like, well, how do I make you happy and proud? Because I don't get it. Like, this is hard for me. So that's how I work with parents, especially in the toddler set, is keeping those expectations really streamlined so that the kids can meet them, and then they get such positive encouragement and from the parents.
I was gonna ask
So
one thing.
Yes.
I could literally talk to you.
Yeah, for hours. I do talk to people for hours.
We
For
have
30 days.
even hit the even the older ages. But the one thing that toddlers or older children crawling out of their bed into
Yep.
mommy and daddy's bed.
Yep.
Can you stop that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miracle
Not
worker.
not
Can be
overnight.
done.
Miracle
But,
worker,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Done.
I mean, it's hard. It can definitely be done, and
Yeah.
I do it with twins, and I do it with triplets, and I do it with singletons,
Oh,
and I
wow.
do it with my kid is 4 years old, and I've got a 12-week-old to be feeding in the middle of the night. I mean, we can do it all
Yeah.
sorts. Yes, it's fixable,
That's
and
a yes.
that's the thing. This stuff is fixable. It's just habit changing, and
Yeah.
you guys know that
That's more on us. Then.
it is. You're the ringleaders.
Yeah.
But you also have to give, I get a lot of parents who we change something and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, well, it's not working tonight. I'm like, well, no, it's not tonight because your little kiddo here needs a few days to learn to
Right,
break
to
down the
adjust.
habit to adjust. And so that's
It's
just part of being
like
human.
21 days to.
Oh
form a
yeah,
new
I know.
habit.
I know that, and then I
Yeah.
keep reading. It's like even more, and I'm
And
like,
now it's
well,
more and
yeah.
more.
Let's stick with 21 days.
21 is good.
Really good.
But
Let's
you know,
start there.
and I tell parents this all the time. I'm like, listen, if somebody came to me tomorrow and said, we've got to change the way that you're eating. I mean, we've got to cut out this and this and this and this. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I know I can do it.
Right.
Do I want to do it? No.
Right.
Like, can I do it if someone's holding me accountable? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna
You hold
regress.
people accountable.
Totally. And
Okay.
and in turn their kids start to, again, all I'm doing is helping parents put the measure right there and make their kids, help their kids achieve a super achievable goal. And that applies to a 10-week-old as much as it applies to a 4-year-old.
And so what you do is you come in at 6 o'clock in the evening. You
Yeah.
assess bedtime routine,
Yep.
dinner,
Yep.
interaction, TV, reading,
Yep.
bath time.
Well,
and
I'll
then-
come in before 6 because I like early bedtime.
Oh, you like early bedtimes? Me too.
So
then you
I'll come at
say-
4,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
I know I can come in the morning, and I'm always super flexible. But so 4 p.m. I show up at your house.
Okay.
We meet, we say hi. I get to meet the fam and any caretakers that are in the picture. And then I sit down with you guys and we really walk through the routine that I want you guys to follow. And it's totally like drinking from a fire hose. A lot of parents are like, what?
What just
But
happened?
but we're gonna work together on this over time, and I give it to you all up front because I want to show you I'm not afraid to share like all of this with you, but I also understand that it's like a crash course in sleep. Like we're gonna have to kind of go through everything. So then yes, we go through the bedtime routine. So I'll walk through the nursery quickly, answer any questions. And then we put the kids to bed, and most kids are happy. Well, I'm there. I'm right next to you, and I'm explaining this is normal. This is what happens, and then kind of how to walk you through it. And really, it's response times and what you need to be doing and not doing. And I get tears, I get laughs, I get all of it, guys. I mean, seriously, everyone is different. Every kid is different. And tears, I was more. Yes, the kids, but also the moms.
Right.
So there's and I'm not judging because I've been in your shoes too. I mean, like I said, once upon a time now, it's, I was in that same boat.
Right.
So we're all in it.
I know.
Yeah.
Such
Yeah.
awesome
Wealth of knowledge.
information.
I know.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have the information up on the app about her business, and we're gonna do a tribe so that when you guys
Sleep
have
pea.
Sleep
not
pea.
Sweet pea.
Yeah.
Sleep Pea, so cute.
S-O-E-P.
So search for the Sleep Pea tribe, and then she'll answer your
Yeah.
questions. She's not gonna be able to fix your kid in one day, like sleeping
Right,
through the
right.
night. We're not doing
But she
that,
can
but
figure
like
out
be a
if she's-
resource.
like what is exactly.
If
So
she's the right fit for you. She can
yeah.
figure it out.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Yeah, and there's a lot of. look, I'm super open and honest, and I'm not pushing people to do this if it's not right for them. But I do like to be a resource because, I love to help people cut the clutter and just kind of say, oh my gosh, I need someone to talk to, and I will be that person for you. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Thanks,
so
guys.
much for being
Thank
here.
you. Absolutely.
Thank you too.
Yeah,
Some questions
I'm
too.
so excited to go
Soaking
home and just
Share.
share.
Yes.
I know.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks
That's
for
awesome.
watching, you guys. As
Absolutely.
always, tell your friends to download the app and share our
We'll be back
posts.
next
We'll be
week.
back next
Will Sarah be
week.
back next
Sarah,
week?
yeah, I think she
Yes.
will be.
Very fun.
Yay.
Good.
Okay, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.